is very, very bad.
Let's turn to what's happening here at home. The ACLU says the Trump administration deported 3 U.S. citizen children with their families, including one suffering from metastatic cancer. A judge overseeing one of the cases expressed his, quote, strong suspicion that the government just deported a U.S. citizen with no meaningful process. If that's the case, and the federal government deported U.S. citizens with no due process, what can you, as one of the top elected officials in the country, do about it?
Well, first, what he's doing here is just outrageous and against every iota of what Americans believe. And this is not the only instance. There are reportedly other instances where U.S. citizen children were deported without any due process. Due process is a hallmark of what our country is all about, rule of law, and ICE and Trump seem to break it in every single way. He believes he's a king. He is not. And the American people are totally against what he is doing in this regard. The polling that you showed today and the data from the other New York Times and Washington Post shows the same thing. We are highlighting this in every way we can, because the more the American people know, the better. That's why Chris Van Hollen went to El Salvador last week. That is why Democrats are talking about this in town hall meetings across the country. And the more the American people know, the less they're going to like what Trump does.
Your colleague from Georgia, Senator Jon Ossoff, told voters at a town hall that he strongly agrees that President Trump should be impeached. Do you agree with him? Would that be a priority if Democrats were to take back Congress?
Well, look, right now, President Trump is violating rule of law in every way. And we're fighting him every single day in every way. And our goal is to show the American people over and over again, whether it's the economy, whether it's tariffs, whether it's Russia and overseas, and whether it's rule of law, how bad he is. And, it's 2 years is too far away to predict. Our job is day to day to day to show who Trump is, what he is doing, and it's having an effect, as your poll showed. The American people are realizing.
You're not saying no.
Look, it's too far away to even judge.
Okay. Of how he is dealing with tariffs and inflation in particular, he told us explicitly, Senator, what he would do during his campaign. He said very specifically what he would do on tariffs and other issues relating to the economy. And voters still chose him over Democrats. How do you explain that?
Look, the bottom line is that no one realized the chaos. It's not tariffs themselves. I've been tough on China, and there are certain tariffs against China that are appropriate. But what he did was totally chaotic. He turned the whole world against us. Instead of focusing on China and getting the world to join us because they don't like what China does, he imposed tariffs across the board on nation after nation after nation, and now they're being allied with China. In addition, he never told the American people the kinds of tariffs he were imposing across the board, and some of them very, very high, would raise their costs. It's estimated it'll raise the American costs. American families would have to pay about $4,000 more a year. The price of food and clothing and gasoline, buying a new car, all would go up dramatically. And so he never leveled with the American people, and no one ever imagined it would be as chaotic and as poorly planned. One person says one thing one day, another person says another thing the next day, and another terrible effect it's having, Dana, on this is that businesses, I've been all around my state. I've been in 6 different districts of Republicans, talking to them, talking to the people about tariffs. And small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and large businesses are frozen, even, because they don't know what Trump will do next. And that's heading us into a recession. And what does a recession mean to the average family? You could lose your job, harder to get a new job, costs go up. So the American people are furious. The promises Trump made are far different than how it's been effectuated, and that's why his 100 days are a disaster.
Let me turn